I'm Rob Barnett, a senior clean energy analyst at Bloomberg Intelligence, and today I want to walk you through our 2022 outlooks for the wind and solar industry. Now let's start with some good news first. The solar industry is going to grow 15 to 30% this year in our view. This will be the first year that global installations exceed 200 gigawatts of capacity. Now this follows very robust growth in 2021. The final year in numbers aren't quite in yet, but it looks like demand grew more than 25% last year as well. Wind, on the other hand, is a little bit more of a mixed bag when you look at 2022 and 2023. Expectations are that we could see a dip in overall installations, mainly due to supply chain disruptions and high commodity prices. The wind industry has really been struggling because of the run-up in steel costs. We are seeing some easing there, and so the real question for the wind industry this year is whether they can eke out a modest profit amid stagnant installations and higher commodity prices. Now, looking forward, we're quite optimistic about both the wind and solar industry. So if you look at our medium-term and long-term demand scenarios, we're really maybe just at the tip of the iceberg in terms of the amount of clean energy technology we're going to be installing each year. In fact, if you look at the IEA's net zero scenario, wind and solar demand are poised to grow something like 3x or 4x over the coming 10 years. Very staggering growth. And many of the net zero policies really haven't been enshrined into law yet. So whether it's Build Back Better in America or all sorts of policy and stimulus around the world, we see those as potential catalysts to really help signal that the industry is going to grow quickly. And again, solar is really already growing at a pace consistent with the net zero thinking. Wind, not quite so yet. But I would say if you look at the European turbine makers, that's Siemens Gamesa, Vestas, and Nordex, on a combined basis, they grew the turbine installations by a CAGR of 17% in 2017 through 2020. So we know they can grow fast. It's just about making sure the demand is there. Now, why has all of this clean energy been happening? Well, one of the big pieces of the story is the tremendous decline in costs we've seen over the last decade. Solar panels have fallen essentially over 90% since the start of 2010. It's a very staggering development that really helps to underpin the economics. Many people are still thinking that policy is important, and I'm not saying it's not, but at the end of the day, the economics really work almost on their own at this point. That wind and solar have the cheapest levelized cost of energy of any of the technologies that you could look at, and especially cheaper these days compared with natural gas, given the run-up in prices, or coal. We think longer term, prices could continue to fall, particularly if we see an easing of commodity prices. Polysilicon, one of the key inputs to the solar industry, has had a big run-up over the last 12 months, and steel as well. So if these things ease, we see prices continuing to come down, which will help the development further this decade. Now, if you're interested in companies that are exposed to this theme of robust clean energy demand, high demand for wind, high demand for solar, you can check out our theme baskets by visiting BI's wind dashboard or solar dashboard. There are numerous companies in many markets that have exposure to the kinds of demand growth that I've just described to you. And by the way, while you're there, check out First Solar. They're a company that we have a focus idea on for 2022. It's one of the 50 companies we've nominated to watch this year. And basically, our thesis is that they're growing very quickly and they have potential to deliver above consensus results, particularly on the revenue line next year as they bring new factories in Ohio and India online. Thank you for your time. Check out our research on the wind and solar industry by visiting BIGO.